To everyone that's listening today, this is an episode where we basically focus on SAMPRA, the South African Music Performing Arts Association. And we've got Mrs. Bongile Meyer, who is the Senior Customer Service Consultant. And she's here to basically tell us a bit more about her and the association as well, which is Africa's largest mealtime rights royalty collections organization, representing over 13,000 recording artists and over 5,000 record labels, which are massive, massive numbers. But before we get into the SAMPRA talks, Meeks and I would just like to learn a bit more about yourself, Mrs. Wongile. So, being a senior customer service consultant for SAMPRA, when did this come about for you? And sort of why did you decide that this is the sort of career path that you want to go for?
All right. Thank you for that. Well, it started a long time ago, actually, when we started obtaining information to collect middle-time royalties. That was back in 2010 when I started with POSA. And my career path, yes, it's been in the music collection management organizations industry. Then eventually I rejoined now SAMPRA back in 2019. Yeah, it is just basically the love of music, because I cannot sing to save my life, but I love music and I love the industry that I'm working in, and collecting the money and paying out royalties to our artists. It gives us joy at the end of the day. When they're happy.
That is a beautiful explanation. And then when you say that, you're a lover of music, that is something we are as well, on the show. So I really just want to know, before you started on this journey, back in 2010 and back then, what could we find Swongile actually listening to, like in terms of music? What type of genre were you sort of into back then, even now?
That's very interesting. It's always a debate that I have with my colleagues and friends of mine. I am a lover of R&B music, hip hop. They're trying to get me into amapiano. It was gone back then, not so long ago. But I'm hip hop, R&B, Kwaito. I'm a Kwaito girl. I love that kind of. It kind of eases you, into a certain mode, and you like relax. If you want to jam to something, or you want to relax, get into a relaxed mode. That's me. That's my go-to music. The other genres, because they're also new, they're also interesting, we slowly getting into what is playing currently on our radio station. So yeah,
I think it's really nice to get a sense of what a person enjoys, like when it comes to what they listen to. Because it is, when you look at SAMPRA, it's very formal, and it's really nice to get, the people behind it and getting to know what they're sort of into. Very interesting. Thank you for that, Spongile. Meeks?
So one of the recurring themes that we've had on the podcast is that a lot of the musicians themselves create as a form of therapy. And now I'm hearing from a listener that you also use it to sort of enhance or change your mood. Would you say that it's also quite therapeutic in your life?
It is. It is quite. After a long day's work, you just want to get into a groove of things. For instance, at home, if I'm doing my house chores, I put in my favorite music, just to get me going and to give me that energy that I need before starting something else. Or when you are relaxed, yes, it's very therapeutic. Definitely, it's no doubt. I don't see anything else that would help. So yeah, therapy, definitely.
So I think from that standpoint, I would say that musicians and CMOs like SAMPRA are very much on the same team. We really do this from the same part of ourselves.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you guys have been doing to get the musicians to act, proactively and get licensed and become a member and stuff like that?
Interestingly enough, about a year ago now, just over a year, in August last year, we launched the SAMPRA Development Fund. We assist the SAMPRA members, right, who have earned royalties, over extended period of time, not just in one particular royalty, but these members are able to apply for the SAMPRA music production, fund. We have funeral benefits. We have post-retirement, we have sponsorships, which is not limited to SAMPRA members, but to the public. And we also have training and development, if our members are interested in studying music further and enhance their careers in music, they are able to register with our service provider. And at the moment, it is Academy of Sound and Engineering. So they are able to do that. But a week ago, we introduced 2 more categories like live performances and travel and tourism as well. So yeah, when members do sign up with SAMPRA and they start earning royalties, there's definitely more that they can do. And SAMPRA is definitely in a position to assist members, with enhancing their music careers.
This is very informative. All the things that you just mentioned now, the sponsorships, the training and developments, the academy, obviously the Academy of Sound and Engineering, live performances, travel and tourism. This is a whole lot of things, that SAMPRA has going. And I think it's very important for people to know where this sort of comes from or what the background of this actually is. So when I'm looking at SAMPRA, as an organization, when was it founded? And what sort of sparked the need for an organization like SAMPRA to actually exist? What was sort of like the catalyst? What is it that happened that made a group of people to be like, hang on, there's clearly a need for something like SAMPRA to assist and aid artists in terms of getting royalties and all that there. So this is a bit of a history lesson for us.
Like I was saying, we've had for over 50 years, we had an organization like SAMRO that catered for composers as well as authors of the music, where their music would play on different platforms like your radio stations, TVs, and all that. The performing rights, that's one of the rights that is available. These composers and authors would get remunerated for the music that was played. And now, SAMPRA came about when this situation arose that only composers and authors were receiving royalties for their intellectual property. However, there are other aspects, or other musicians that also contributed in the recording of the actual music. And these would be everyone that played instruments, that contributed instrumentally, the backing vocalists, the studio producers. So that is how SAMPRA came about. And when it started with EPOSA back in the days in 2008, this is when needle time rights was also introduced in South Africa.
It's really nice to see that, it wasn't only something that was sort of on a corporate level in a way, but also something that, the artists who are actually making the music and the composers and all that actually also took part in. I think it's one of the things that would have enhanced the whole experience, getting, people who are directly involved in creating or the creative process,
Yes, not only the idea of a song, a musician is going to come up with a beat and somebody else comes up with the lyrics, and you get a group of people who are going to put all these ideas, this intellectual property of yours, will bring it to life. So why is it that only one part, is only going to receive royalties, whereas other people as well who were involved in the recording and some songs would become a hit, either in our country or internationally, but only a certain group will get paid. So that's how it also came about. It's like, no, man, come on. I'm also a musician. I do backing vocals for Nasiphi, so why don't I get paid? And it was only fair that this would be introduced. It was only introduced in South Africa not so long ago, but it's actually been around in other countries for a long time.
How does SAMPRA then decide? I mean, is it SAMPRA who decides, or would it be everyone who's involved in the creation of a piece of art that would decide in terms of who gets what percentage when it comes to needle time and royalties and such?
It was decided that I'm going to use you as an example, right? So it is your recording. It has been released under Nasiphi, right? So as a featured performer, you automatically will be allocated 65% of the needle time royalties that have been collected. And then if Usmo comes and does the backing vocals and somebody else comes with the instruments and then there's a producer involved, those people, we call them the non-featured performers, they will then be allocated with a 35% of the royalties. So the split for needle time is always standard. It will be 65-35. 65 to the featured performer and then 35% to the non-featured performers. And also there's another category as well in terms of the royalty split. This single or album has been released under Nasiphi, right? However, on that particular single, he has featured Megan. So in terms of the royalties and the payments, Nasiphi is gonna share his 65% share with Megan. So that split will then be divided into two, and the other 35% that has been set aside already for the non-featured performance will then be allocated to them, to the non-featured performers. That is the standard distribution ratio for needle time.
Thank you so much for actually explaining that, Spongila. I feel like it's something that, we don't really get to hear a lot. Like, I had no idea that that's how the split works.
Yeah.
So under allocations, it says that producers are a non-featured performer, and it says that they have to make a performing contribution to the song. What constitutes that performing contribution?
All right. In some instances, you will get Nasiphi as the writer, the composer, and author of the song, but is also a performer, right? So the album is going to be released under his name. Because it's going to be released under his name, it is his project. So automatically he's the featured performer. And now the producer of that song or that single is going to come in and do, the magics that the producers do, to make it, sound, what's the word that I'm looking for? To be commercially sound for the public. So by virtue with the producers, they fall into that category of non-featured performance. Does that make sense for you, Megan?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so what if you write and you play sort of multiple roles in the creation process? If you're a performer, like you sing, but you're also a producer on the track, do you then claim for all of those roles?
Unfortunately, you don't. That's the unfortunate part. You do get other musicians who do play that role, right? Where Megan is going to come in as the other featured performer on Nasiphi's single, but at the same time is also a producer of that particular song. So what we do to establish the royalty and the distribution we take the highest ranking, in the sense that now Nasiphi is also a producer. Yes, you are credited as a non-featured performer. However, at the same time, you are also the other featured performer. So we take the highest ranking of that, and then we pay you according to that. So we will pay you as we would with Nasiphi.
Oh, okay. Is there a specific reason why you choose to take the highest ranking form of compensation rather than allocating to multiple claims?
Because we have a standard 65-35, right? If your role is either featured and also non-featured. On our records, it will show that you were also there non-featured in that particular single. However, because of our allocation and royalty distribution, we will then take the highest ranking, just to be fair to you as the other featured performer and as the non-featured performer, because that 65-35 is always standard as well.
So what I want to find out is how accessible is SAMPRA to, say, a layperson? Now, I'm an artist. I just started making music yesterday, and I really just want to find out more about, royalties and needle time and all that there. And how is sort of SAMPRA ensuring that, as many artists as possible are able to access, their services and make it easier, for artists to, sign up wherever they need to sign up and get in touch with, SAMPRA and stuff. Because I'm just looking at it sort of on base level, and that, you get the artist, he's making music, but you'll find that some artists themselves, the whole SAMPRA thing involves a lot of paperwork. It involves maybe having to go to the head office or downloading an app or whatever. It seems overwhelming. So how is SAMPRA making it accessible, to the layperson or anyone who's wanting to sort of take those steps?
Yeah, we are quite accessible. And unfortunately, because of, the whole COVID pandemic, it has become a challenge for our members to come to our offices, because we all now work from home. However, being said that, we are on emails, we are on social media. They can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. And also we have designated WhatsApp lines for our members to get hold of us. And also the app. If someone has got a smartphone, they are able to get in touch with us via our app. Our landline is still operational. So if someone, says, can you give me a call back? I don't have enough airtime to call you guys back. Our consultants, as particular, will be able to get in touch with our members. Most of our members these days do have access to WhatsApp, which make it easier for them to get the information that they need without going into the email and social media. It's more or less an online interaction with the consultant, which is a bit easier for them. And should they need to be requesting documents to apply for membership or submit their documents, we're able to send them the documents that they can actually use, download to complete the forms that we need them to sign. And they are able to sign these documents on their smartphones as well. So we're quite reachable.
So basically, as an artist, you'd be able to sign up and do everything that's required without even having to go to head office. You could literally start and conclude the whole process online or through the app or interacting, using, or rather over the internet, basically.
Correct. Yes. Like I said, with the pandemic, it is difficult for other members to come to us and consult with us directly. However, with our WhatsApp line, it is much, much, much easier. And we have a lot of traffic on our WhatsApp lines as well for those that cannot go onto Instagram and social media. And maybe they have challenges with downloading the documents from our website. We do cater for those. So yeah, we are quite reachable. It's very easy. And even the application process does not even take a long time. If someone completes the application form online, either via the website or via our SAMPRA app, you submit your information today, it does not even take 5 days for you to receive feedback to say that, yes, your application has been received and processed. Here is your membership number as well. We do communicate. And most of I would say maybe 99% of our members have access to emails as well. So they do get those confirmations via the emails, just to put them at ease, to say, yes, I made an application for membership through SAMPRA, and now I got an email response to say, yes, my membership has been processed, and here's my membership number as well. So it is quite easy. We try to meet, members not halfway, but 90% there. And in the future, we are in a process of making life a whole lot simpler for our members as well. So when the time comes and we introduce more services, definitely we will let our members know this is what's happening with SAMPRA, either via SMS or via email, or via our social media platforms. We definitely do communicate if there are any new products that we are launching or something new has come up with SAMPRA for them to know. Yeah.
I think it will definitely put people's minds at ease, just knowing that, you guys are that accessible, that all you literally need is an internet connection and you're able to set everything up, whether it be through the app or online. This is something I, along with other artists as well, would be really grateful for, and we really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So at what stage in a musician's career should they seek to become a member of SAMPRA?
If a potential member is thinking of going to the studio, or they have actually gone to the studio and started recording music that will be commercially released, then they need to apply for the SAMPRA membership. It varies as to how your music is going to take up. So, especially nowadays, there's a lot of digital releases and stuff like that. So you can be done with your song today, put it up online, and it becomes a hit, 2 days later. So when you have plans of releasing your music commercially, then yes, register yourself with SAMPRA, have all your administration basically taken care of. This will be applying for the membership. That is always the first step. And secondly, when it is your music that you are releasing, complete the notification of recorded performances form and submit it to us. At least you know that part of your administration has been taken care of. Then you can concentrate on your music journey, getting the music up there and doing live performance and stuff like that. Also, as part of notifying SAMPRA of your project, is if you as Megan have released a single, or rather you have featured in Nasiphi's single, you can inquire with SAMPRA if Nasiphi has registered, because you have worked with Nasiphi. And if you find out that Nasiphi is not a member of SAMPRA, you can let Nasiphi know that, there is SAMPRA out there, and we can also pursue Nasiphi to register, especially if the song has definitely received some airplay, so that you can get your share of the royalties as well as him getting his share of the royalties. Yeah, because sometimes you might find that even the feature performer is not even aware that they need to register their music, because their concentration is getting the music out there and not taking care of the administration part of that journey.
To sort of wrap up on my end, I really just want to find out, this is going to be my final question, in that since SAMPRA, licenses music users, like pubs, restaurants, outlets, that use, music and all that there, what sort of technology actually goes behind detecting, whether or not an establishment has used, the music? So if I'm a SAMPRA member, or I'm an artist, and, I've got, the whole needle time thing, and there is a certain venue, let's say, that is owned by Usbongile, and they have used one of my songs, at that venue, how does SAMPRA get, an alert in that, okay, so Usbongile's venue has basically utilized a Megan song, at their venue? What sort of technology goes, into that, considering that there are so many establishments as well? How are you guys able to keep track?
Well, we do have a licensing department that actually oversees that aspect of our music, where they will contact, the broadcasters as well as the restaurants and retailers and all that, where they will collect the information, one ensuring they submit their repertoires that was played in the establishments. And that information that is collected is then forwarded to our department that actually compiles all that data for us.
So would then this be, is this like a compulsory thing that any establishment that is registered, under SAMPRA, is it compulsory then for them to send you guys, say maybe on a monthly basis, these are the artists that we're going to be playing, or this is the music that we have played for the month, sort out the whole licensing and needle time thing, or like what? Is this like something that's compulsory, or is it like something they sort of volunteered to do? Like, how does it work?
It also depends on the license fee that they pay to SAMPRA. Some, depending on the size of the establishment, they pay a blanket license fee that allows them to play as much music as they prefer. And yes, we do require information as to which artist was played and how often, that information is compulsory for us to have in order for us to establish how the royalties will be paid out.
But I'm sorry, this just, I'm trying to, so many other questions are popping up from this. Like, is this something practical? Is this something that is currently working? Do venue owners submit to you guys, like, what artists they've played? Because I'm just thinking, again, so many establishments in South Africa, and you'll find that many of them will be registered, under SAMPRA. Do they send through, of artists? Because you'll find that sometimes you'll find a pub somewhere that is out there playing, lesser known bands or whatever the case may be, who may also be registered under SAMPRA, but you'll find that there's never any sort of royalties that come in or anything like that there. Is this something that is practical, and is it working?
Well, we definitely have a list of all the licensed establishments, broadcasters and the restaurants and the likes that we collect from. If there are other establishments that have not been licensed with SAMPRA, and then we find out about them, like I was saying, that there is a department that is specifically designated to contact those establishments and ensure that, one, they pay licenses, and secondly, that they submit the music, the information that is required in order for us to pay out the royalties to the members that have signed up with SAMPRA.
This has been so helpful. Thank you so much for coming and basically putting us in school for the session. I have one question. So what I've learned is that as a musician, what we can do is to join SAMPRA and maintain our membership, and we can encourage all the venues and places that we interact with to license and pay their fees and submit their playlists. But what can we do as a podcast? Is there any infrastructure for us?
Well, as a podcast, I mean, getting the word out there will be helpful not only to SAMPRA to be able to reach those artists that have not signed up for membership with SAMPRA, and most importantly, those artists that are releasing music commercially, to get the word out, that have not signed up, to go online, find out who SAMPRA is. It's definitely helpful that we have conversations like this, and hopefully it won't just be a one-time thing. If artists don't know anything about SAMPRA, these kind of podcasts, they really they do help out. So to get the word out there, to assist other upcoming artists, to register and get their royalties, and other than also getting their royalties, get other assistance from SAMPRA, in terms of the SAMPRA fund, through the SAMPRA fund, where they can go to school, when they can get assistance in, organizing their gigs and going into the studio to get their singles or their albums recorded, funeral benefits, we have that. All of these services are at no cost to the members as well. So yes, that's how the podcast will also help out to continue with these kind of conversations, to help get the word out, to direct members to our social media, get them informed of what SAMPRA is and how they can benefit from SAMPRA as well.
Sibongile, thank you so much for joining us on the show and giving us all this information. You did give us your handles earlier, so grateful for that. Just want to thank you one more time for joining us on the show, Sibongile. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much for this time.
And this isn't going to be the last time, right? I promise.
It better not be.